Insights with Terri Ep.85, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.85. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.85. Thank you for joining me for this week of August the 15th through the 21st. Summer is leaving us. Thank you again for your time. As I've said before many times, your time is really the most valuable thing that we can give anybody, that gift of our time, because we can't make more of it, and it is finite, so I'm very grateful for that. Now, this week, let's get to it. We are still in the sun sign of Leo. That's a fire sign, and we will be there for a little while. Watch that short temper, because we have it as well in Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty and relationships. So with those two fire signs, just be careful that we're not short-tempered, or we have a little short fuse, or we start doing maybe some self-talk that puts more pressure on us than we need to. Look at what your self-talk is in the next little bit, because that can lead to a calmer disposition or a fiery disposition. And oftentimes we don't realize, or we don't recognize consciously, how we're talking to ourselves and what message our body and our mind are getting. So keep an eye on that. And Mercury, the planet of the mind, how we think and communicate, that is in Virgo, and Virgo's ruling planet is Mercury, so it's a very mercurial energy, and with that, a lot of thinking. If you're a person that stays in your head, watch that we don't overdo. Try to strive for balance here, because this makes us get up there in our head, and instead of maybe doing something about it, we're thinking, or we're not allowing ourselves to feel it, and we're more likely to try to logic through it, which can be a good thing, but maybe sometimes we need to do rather than just think. So just watch that you're not spending a lot of time in your head, because when we do that, we miss some of the moments of now. So if, for instance, I was riding my horse and I'm thinking, I'm not really riding the horse. I'm staying on the horse if I'm lucky. I might be aware that I'm riding a horse, but am I really present? So I miss the experience of the smell of the air, or the sound of the bees and the flies, the sound of the leaves being rustled by the wind, the sound of the horse's hooves on the ground, him crunching the grass that he's stolen while we were walking. So all of that we can miss. So you want to just watch that you're present. Virgo in Mercury isn't a very moment-to-moment energy field. It's thinking ahead, thinking behind. So just kind of keep an eye on that if you can. And then Mars, the planet of our drive, that's the energy field that is our passion, right? So that is something that we can look at. But what are you really passionate about? And Mars is as well a fire sign. So given that it's a fire sign, then we have to look at, is there something that's going to light my fuse a little bit harder than normal? Is there something that, I feel a little bit fiery about, passionate about? Now, Mars is in, right now, it's in Taurus, which is a more grounded energy, not as, the bull isn't something that tries to go at people unless it's provoked. So we have to look at that. But that will be moving into Gemini, and Gemini is the communicator. So with the communicator, what we might need to look at, maybe they're challenging us to look at this, is what words have been left unspoken that maybe the situation requires to be spoken, and maybe what is spoken that we need to be silent. So we're going to need to balance that. Gemini is the twins, right? So we're going to have to balance that both with speaking and being quiet and listening. And we'll be really driven to be around people that are interesting and that are fun, or movies that are interesting. Boring isn't going to cut it with that with that kind of an energy field. The number 2 was given to us for this week to combine with where the planets are. Number 2 usually is a tolerant and a kind energy in numerology, and it supports really good intuition. So as I said, listening, good listening to others, we may intuitively know that they need to have that. We strive with number 2 to own and offer patience and learning the art of diplomacy, which I can be guilty of many times, and I'm seeing a true lack of in the last little bit. So it is something that number 2 is going to try to teach us. Now, sometimes with number 2 combined with that roaring lion and Virgo energy, we may, as I said, get into our heads, but we may not implement the courage of Leo, and then we maybe lack the courage to implement the plans that we've made in our head, and then we'll leave that initiative to other people. So we'll do a lot of talking, but we won't do a lot of doing. On that note, I'd like to just bring an example. So we're all concerned about the health care. All of us are, at some point in our life need health care, and we're in a terrible crisis. I don't know that we've ever been in this type of a crisis. Now, I was listening to CKLW the other day, and the host had said that the government, now I'm just repeating, okay, I haven't done my own research, so please be cognizant of that the government of Canada dedicates $16,000 per head in Canada for healthcare per person. So every living man, woman, and child is paid to the healthcare system by the government $16,000. Now, I haven't used that, and I can tell you almost every member of my family hasn't used that. Of course, it takes one terrible thing to happen and use it up really quickly. But that means that it's dedicated then to other people. But that's what they're putting in. Now, in comparing Canada to other world countries, we're right at the top for how much money is spent on healthcare. But when the data comes in, what we receive from healthcare is just above Ethiopia. So there's a big difference there, a big hole. Where is the money going? So then we have to look at, with all this Virgo and Gemini energy, and number 2, we have to look at, so where is the money going? And why is everything so deplorable? So just almost scratch the surface, we're not recruiting any more doctors. Our requirements are weird. We need to revamp that. We are losing more nurses than we're gaining, and shoving people through a course and having them half trained really isn't the answer. Private care, maybe, but they're dedicating the money, when the research was done, in the wrong areas to the wrong people the wrong way. So basically they're dumping the money in a cavern that could completely eat up all the money, but it's not going to fill up the hole. So we have to change that. Now, you and I, we're little people. We have no power. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have to remember that the government is our employee. Isn't it the government for the people, by the people? We've lost that. They're telling us what to do. They're telling us they're the boss. They make the rules. Maybe instead of complaining about things, and maybe the protesting is a little bit wrong in that it wasn't organized in a way that would be changing, but things changing. They're not mandating anymore, so they did get a certain kind of a message, but it was done poorly. So maybe we need to use our voice to stand up, all of us, maybe together, 6 friends, make a petition and get together and maybe do some constructive criticism so we do get things done. Let me give you an example of one voice. On Walker's Side Road, which is not too far from where I live, one woman will not say her name, moved in to a little tiny house. She didn't get a package delivered. So she decided that Walker Side Road was the wrong name for that street. Now that street has been Walker Side Road as long as I've ever lived out in this area, and I'm 73. But she didn't get a package delivered. This is a true story. So she made a petition to change the Walker Side Road word. Let's change it. Let's change that road's name, like they're doing with Matchett. Now, a number of people that I know have signed the petition just because somebody came to the door and they were trying to get rid of them and they didn't read it and they didn't know. It was brought up that if that side road name is changed, you have to change your health card, your driver's license, you have to change your address just like you moved. All of your government forms, your bills, all of it has to be changed because one woman did not receive her package and she felt strongly enough to do something. And how many people are on that road, I couldn't even tell you. And now we're going to be inconvenienced. So then they had to make a petition to unpetition themselves. And they went to the council and they're saying, we don't want that. But one woman made a difference. Putin made a difference. Hitler made a difference. Not good. But maybe one of us, maybe there is one person out there that could stand up and we could all follow you and start to dig through the pile of poop and find a pony in there. So we need to use our voices, and that's what all of this Uranus and North Node that I've been talking about and Lionsgate, all of the astrology situations that are happening out there, the number 2 given to us, all this fiery sun sign, maybe wants us to make some changes that are profound enough to make some changes that are good. Not let one person change or dictate to us what we should be doing or shouldn't be doing if it doesn't make sense. Let's take the border. Right now, with all the mandates gone and everything gone, does it make sense to have to fill out those forms and go through hoops? No, it does not. But we keep doing it. Why? Because we don't get up and start to work on changing things. Our voice isn't loud enough. But we do let some people that are foolish speak louder than us and win. So maybe we need to grab that steering wheel and take some control ourselves. All right, off my soapbox. The beginning of the week, as far as health goes, we may, if you're vulnerable in the head, the teeth, your arteries, anything to do with the upper body could be at a vulnerable place for this week. So if you suffer with migraines or headaches or sinus, be kind to yourself because that could be an issue this week. In the beginning of the week, towards the middle of the week, it moves down to our neck and vocal cords, our lungs, our throat. So I'm already trying to bear that in mind, lightening my vocal load towards the end of the week so that I can give my voice a rest. So that just means shut up, Terri. Don't use it if you don't have to. Let somebody else talk for a minute. So as I said, head, teeth towards the beginning of the week, neck towards the middle of the week, and then towards the end of the week, possibly our arms, our shoulders, if you've got bad shoulders, the lungs, all of that. So pay particular attention to that if you can. So that's what we've got going for us this week, kids. All the best of luck to you. And if there's anybody out there that wants to start working on our health care, give me a shout and I will be behind you or beside you, whatever you need. We need to get together and take on projects and not leave it to the government. Our politicians need help. Not in a good way necessarily, but maybe our voice needs to be heard a little bit more so they'll pay attention. And we have to remember that they work for us. We don't work for them. We did work for them and we gave them our paychecks. And now their hands are in our pockets still. So let's do some squeaking, but let's do constructive squeaking, okay? Where we don't hurt people. Everybody's nerves are very, very frazzled. very frazzled, and it's looking like that in our relationships too. So maybe if we're constructive, we can do something more about that. Excuse me. If you would like your own reading, don't hesitate to give me a call or text 519-726-6699, or you can email me at Terri, Terri.Coutts, Coutts @gmail.com. And a big shout out to Charlie for putting us on so many things on, I can't even remember them all, on Amazon, on YouTube, on, oh gosh, a lot. Any place just about you get your favorite podcast, you can find us. Charlie gives me the link on when he sets it up, and if you require it, it's on Facebook, but I'd be happy to email it to you for that week. And then you can just subscribe, and there you go. And it's free to subscribe, no cost. It just pops up in your algorithms. So thanks again to Charlie. Thanks again to you for listening. Have yourselves, everybody, a wonderful week. Enjoy your time and take care. Be careful. Look around. See who needs help. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Insights with Terri Coutts, and visit her website, terriworld.com, TERRI world.com. And we'll catch you next time